Good no mothers of beasts. Many people were asking me in my last live how I raised the maximum level that dinos can have in my Crazy Horse game, since dinos with a maximum level of 420 were appearing. So let's go with this solution, and most importantly I'm going to teach you how to deal, how to keep these dinos constant in your world, how to improve the loot so that you can survive more easily and deal with complications such as long lengths. Waiting groups that you need for dinos to eat? This video will strongly move all the memories of the old arc, so within the video we will change the map so that you can see the levels with which they appear to me on this local host, and then we will apply the trick so that you can see how the level of the dinos that appear increases. Let me tell you that if you want a pleasant experience raising the maximum level of the dinos that may appear, I recommend that you go make this other video that I am leaving you here. The little card arrives because believe me, surviving with dinos of such high levels with weapons, primitive quality, or directly tools or armor is going to become very complicated. It's not impossible, but it's going to get complicated and frustrating. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, since to activate these functions in your world we will need the good console to be able to enter the following two commands. The first is to completely disappear all the dinos that are in your game. This does not include your domesticated, so you don't get scared of. Let me remind you that here below in the description of the video you can find these commands to place it. After waiting for a while, you will enter the following code, which will increase the difficulty of your game. I have no idea if this will also affect the boxes or loot we can get, just be patient. When the bells begin to ring, they will immediately have higher levels. For example, let's take this level 162 raptor with primitive quality soul. These would be the shots you would need naturally, but thanks to that in this one, game that we have an ascending quality crossbow. We only use 2 arrows. Higher level wines include different expenses. The first would be more expenses on narcotics to make them unconscious. The second would be food. Assuming that we are going to give this raptor raw meat, we would need to give it 55 pizzas for 45 minutes, and that's an entry dino, a raptor, a small dino. Here you have to choose 2 ways to be able to advance these taming times. First, if you are rich, you will use the keys, and this will double the time of the... In terms of language, yes, it would normally take 1 hour, it would take 30 minutes. Using this item, I only recommend spending keys for those dinos that are really of a very high level, because this helps them not lose so much effectiveness regardless of the food you decide to give the second. For us mortals who are poor, I include myself in them, we will have to leave the game, enter and search for the food statistics of the characters' dinos. That's what it is called, as is, or as they are very high level dinos. You will not be able to place 50 like we do naturally in a normal game. We will have to place a 150. This will drain the food from the dinos at very high levels 3 times faster, thus performing hunger domestications, which normally tend to have a little more domestication efficiency than normal ones, also wiping us out on the way to the amount of narcotics so absurd that he would ask us. Remember that if you use keys, everything is reduced in half, both the amount of food you would need to domesticate it, the domestication time, and most importantly, it will prevent the dino from losing a lot of domestication efficiency when using non-recommended foods. And domestication. Remember to set the previously altered statistic back to 1. Luckily for us, the game is able to remember commands. So if you ever leave the game, you only have to re-enter to reload the difficulty command. You don't have to eliminate dinos anymore. This is worth it with the desire that the dinos that will continue to spawn throughout your game continue to have or maintain those high levels, since we all have ambitions to be worthy of such levels. Strangely tall. Suppose you find yourself like me, a level 435 dino that I'm about to tell you is not able to encourage you to get ascending quality weapons. It will at least make you think about using traps when taming primitive quality. These would be the tranquilizing arrow impacts we'd need to put a level 435 parasaur to sleep. As for the food, hold on, because it is going to consume 12 on 33 semejo berry total of 1822 narrates. Gothic, you would have to defend it for 8 hours. Remember that you can make him hungry with the game parameters by leaving the game, but since it is such a high level here, I do recommend that you get creative with the numbers so that his food is lowered in 1 second by placing a very high number. To prevent your domesticated animals from suffering this decompensation, I recommend that you keep them in a cryopod with the domestication due to hunger. Since we do not have bombs in this version of Ark Mobile, it is going to be a little more complicated for us. The Tameo is not going to be as express as it was in an old version, as the clip you are watching in the background using the starvation bug for dinosaurs took the Parasaur 13 minutes to be able to wake up or maybe hold the hand from which I was experimenting with other speeds. So what? Don't completely lower the food so quickly. Its consumption was somewhat slow. According to the wiki, with 8% 50 food multiplier, the Paraceratherium should have woken up in 6 minutes, a little more, a little less. The joke here is that you're going to have to protect your pet for a bit of a long period of time. Remember that if you use keys it can pass. In this case, instead of 13, it would have been simply 6.5 minutes. For obvious reasons, I decided not to spend keys so I could bring them the cleanest experience possible. Are you feeling more comfortable? Let me tell you that you can use the same command to make the dinos expose, but changing the 15 between one number between 2 and 15 to vary the difficulties. Obviously, this brings different types of levels in the dinos, but as you get comfortable, they already know that I like to be semi-suicidal then. I like to play with the difficulties at full capacity, but you leave me the comments below with what difficulty you are going to start playing and what dinos may appear in that selected difficulty that you have to be loading this command every time you leave and return to enter the game so that your dinos continue to maintain these levels. It is to be imagined that these new dinos that are going to be appearing in your world will be above the others. Obviously, remember to try to look for high level dinos because the enemies are also high level, and if you don't believe me that this is dangerous if you don't know how to accommodate you well, I stopped watching this video that I am leaving you on the card since it was a live in which everything went wrong for us because we were ahead of this abrupt change of words in which I lost a lot of domesticated quality of the last videos that I have had in the channel. Without a doubt, I think that the best investment you can make in this game would be good console. Whether you buy it through the pass, buy it through forms, or get it in other not so exact ways, I ask that you unfold a lot of things for us so we can use them. Floating damage that if you don't know. How to place them here. Aribita, I'm also leaving you the card, the appearance commands, greater difficulty, etc. This makes the gameplay a lot easier. Just as I always tell you, remember not to abuse these resources because the games get pretty boring. Are you ready to go for that level 450 giga yet? How are we gonna keep him asleep? God knows how. I sincerely hope that you liked today's video. You loved the most important thing. It taught you how to have level 450 dinos in your games. Local host would know how to tell. If this trick works in multiplayer games, if someone can leave it here below, I would be very grateful, and without further ado, see you.